guys? Day 6, better than yesterday, 15-day fitness challenge. We're still moving on with it. Hope you guys are keeping up. If you haven't noticed, I like to switch things around and make this challenge as fun as possible and also as different as possible so you guys could learn as much as you can and then keep implementing it. That way you have a lot of tools to work with, see what works well for you, what doesn't work for you. Today is not any different. We're gonna be switching things up, and today is only stretching. The reason why I'm focusing a lot on stretching is as a society, we're very sedentary. Whether we're sitting at work, whether we're sitting driving, whether we're sitting at home, whatever it is, we need to get a lot more movement in, a lot more stretching, we need to get a lot more mobile. Once we're a lot more mobile, we can do everything else a lot better. This is also I'm not gonna pick on you guys, but gentlemen in particular, we don't like to stretch. And the more we stretch, specifically if you don't stretch enough, this is gonna be quite a workout. So just stay with this and see how it feels. You'll start probably breaking a sweat within a minute or two just from doing simple stretches. These are the stretches that we already done. I'm building up on them and kind of showing you how to work it as a sequence. One extra stretch in there, which is just a yoga pose, but it's gonna be very, very simple, like anything else that I like to do, fairly simple. So let's get to it. I'm gonna get on my mats. Hopefully you guys can see me well, even with the glare on. We're gonna start with the first one, which is the pigeon pose. Lay the leg at a 90-degree angle. Trap it with the other arm, keep it there, and then scoot your butt backwards. You'll feel the stretch, and I'm stretching my left leg. I'm stretching out and feeling it in my butt cheek. This is the side profile of it, okay? Then from that, obviously you would switch positions and switch legs. The next one we're gonna do is the hip flexor stretch. This is the one we did in the previous video. Put the leg down, scooch the leg back as far as you can, and then attempt to touch your elbow to the ground. But that's not the goal. The goal is to get your hips, the other hip, as low to the ground as possible, and that's the hip that you're stretching. All right, next one after that is another hip stretch, which is the 90-90 stretch. Put the leg in a 90-degree angle, bring the other leg up at a 90-degree angle, lean forward, smell that toe, lean back, as far back as you can. Relax in the front leg and the back leg. Notice how my front leg is starting to flex because I'm fighting it. You need to breathe into the stretch and relax into it. Especially here, I didn't mention that in the last episode, but you want to focus on your breath every time you're doing this. If you want to do a side profile of this movement, it's 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. It looks like a ninja star. Again, lean forward and then leaning back. Okay? And last but not least is the downward dog, which is from yoga. It's a good stretch for the hamstrings and the calves. So we're hitting out pretty much every muscle possible with all these stretches. Very basic, simple stretches, but difficult for some people to perform. Starting in the push-up position and then reaching back, getting the heels down if possible. Back is flat, reaching through, and that's it. Now the way that you're going to be doing this workout is, I'm fairly good on time here, it's a pretty short video. I'm actually going to go through a sequence really quick. I'm not going to talk at all, I'm just going to flow through the movements. And at first, when you're doing the first round of this, you can make it static. Static means you're going to hold the pose for 10 to 15 seconds. After you get better at these movements, you can start flowing through it and go a little bit faster. So you're holding the pose for maybe a second or two, and then moving on to the next one. As soon as you feel that stretch, go into the next one. And then you can play around with the pattern the way you're going through. You can go from the downward dog into the pigeon pose, into the hip flexor, into 90-90. Whatever it is, whatever you're flowing, you can do one side, then the other side, you can go back and forth. Whatever you want, play around with it, guys. Have fun. And that's what it's all about. Movement, fun. Some of you might think that this is not fun because it is quite torturous, especially if you're tight in certain areas, but it will get better. You do the first one through, the first cycle through of all these exercises, you'll get looser. Then the second cycle is going to feel so much better, and the third cycle is going to feel a lot better. It's going to flow through much easier. So what I want from you guys is to flow through all these exercises at least thrice, okay? I'm gonna do a quick little flow. I'm gonna shut up for a second and let's do it. Alright, so I just completed one sequence. Again, this was moving a lot faster. Again, A was for video purposes, and B because I wanted to make it a little bit more dynamic. I'm fairly loose. So what you guys want to do is focus on your breathing. The time that you know that you're done with that pose is once you hit it, you feel it where you need to be feeling it for that pose, where you feel the stretch period, and then you breathe through it, you hold it, and then you move on. Don't move through the poses too fast, where you don't feel the muscles actually get a release or get a stretch. Especially for the 90-90 stretch, it's very easy to get this pose, especially when leaning back to compensate, lift the front leg, or let the back leg lift up as well. It's relax, let the stretch take you down, let the gravity help you sink down, breathe through it and relax through it. Alright guys, be better than yesterday, implement these stretches, it's only gonna make you better, and I'll see you next time.